Bitcoin is now getting a push up, but I don't think we're going to go all the way up to all-time high right now. And I actually don't think the number one scenario is going to be going to $70,000 right now. Let me tell you why. So we are still, sadly, unfortunately, still inside this sideways range, which we have been in for a very long time now. This was the top, and then this more or less is the bottom side of the range. There's two very clear resistances that we need to have a look at. Number one, we need to know we went long, I went long, and I actually got stopped out. Okay, we went long at the 0.618 and we went below it. We're now getting a push up, and I will show you in just a second using an RSI what I also think is going to be happening. Where do I think the price is going to be stopping, and what are those resistances I'm going to be paying really close attention to? Well, we had an impulsive phase down. Okay, let's go down maybe to the 1 hourly time frame. If you don't know, okay, how to look at the impulsive phases, if you don't know whether you should trace your Fibonacci from this low or from this one or from this one, if you don't know, we have created a series of indicators which you have got access to for free. One of them being the pivot and dynamic zones, which is basically going to show you, if we head over to the 4 hourly time frame, for example, is going to show you a red line telling you exactly from which point number 1 up until point number 2. That is how you should trace your Fibonacci retracement. This one exactly the same thing, from the bottom all the way to the next peak. That's how you should trace your next Fibonacci retracement. That's just for those that are maybe starting off in trading, don't really know how to trace Fibonacci, because it's a really important tool for you to use. So back to it, Fibonacci from the high all the way to the low. We've just recently made it to the 0.5 level of 63,900. I'm looking more at the 0.618 level. Okay, if I just briefly turn on our RSI, that's not the RSI, this is the RSI. On the 4 hourly time frame, we're very, very close to being overbought, which is why I do think seeing the price at 64,500 is something that makes a fair amount of sense for me. It's a place where I really do think the price is going to be ending up at. From there, okay, that's the thing. This is the resistance number one. On top of that, I can also very easily trace a volume profile, and we're going to see the points of control coming along basically where we are now. So I'm expecting a bit of a deviation from the 0.5 level up to the 0.618 for us to get some sort of reaction down. Now, as you may know, I am bullish. I still think the price at some point will be going up to $69,000-$70,000. We might even get an explosive move up to $73,000. I've been saying this for the past 45 days that we've been in this sideways range. Now, I do not think we can do this yet, especially because of how the RSI is. Okay, so it's going to be a really important thing to just look at how the price is reacting once we make it to this box, once we make it to this area. We need to see if the price, which is first case scenario, gets a rejection back down, in which case I would be expecting the price to go below these lows and then finally come down to the $61,000 price point, which I've been speaking about for so long as well. The next case scenario would be we completely ignore the 0.618, which is where we would be going up to the top side of the range. Now, we went long. When I say we, I just mean me. I went short at this top right there. Am I gonna go short again if the price makes it up to 65,500? No. Why? Because we already hit this once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 times. We have hit this resistance 7 times. I'm not going to be able to go short again for the 8th time. That is just not really doable anymore. This was quite risky. This was quite risky on its own, but I do have to say this one 8 times on the 8th time, that's way too much for me. Especially since I'm still thinking we could get some sort of push up. So, because we've tested this resistance so many times, if we lose this 0.618 and it doesn't work out, that's absolutely fine, because this means we're going to get the push up until around there. And finally, we are going to be getting the push up that we think. I think if we make it up to 65,500 this time, we are most likely going to be breaking it. That's my speculation. That's what I think is going to be happening with the price of Bitcoin. That's what I'm going to be trading it as. I did not go long here, okay, which now seeing the price go up, I kind of regret it a little bit. We actually had a money flow divergence, as you can see right there. We had a money flow divergence which was given to us with our indicators, and now we are seeing a fairly nice move up. Am I going to trade this scalping short? I might. Okay, I might. What would the trade look like? Well, Fibonacci from the high all the way to the low, something like this. I don't really think you need a massive stop loss above these recent highs. Probably a stop loss of 1.1% would be more than enough, something like this. As soon as the price gives you a 1.5% move, maybe 2% move, I would run, absolutely run, and move your stop loss to break even point. Even, I would say, if the price carries on going up and we make it to this area, I would then be tempted to trace a Fibonacci retracement from this push up and then put your take profit on the 0.618 level of this push up. Once you make it to the 0.618 level, move your stop loss to break even, and then if the price carries on going down, great. You can hold it up until 61k. If once we make it to this smaller 0.6618, we keep on going up, then that's absolutely fine. You've made some money and you've protected yourself. Okay, that's my plan. That's basically what goes through my mind when I'm trading, what I look for and what I don't look for. What we're now going to do as well is we're going to turn on the rest of our indicators, like for example the smart money concepts, and we're going to head on over to the one hourly time frame maybe, or the 2 hourly. Let's go over to the 1 hourly, see what we can see. We've got a 1 hourly fair value gap and a 1 hourly order block basically on the 0.618 level, which is why again I would like to see it on top of that. Okay, what would be even nicer is if we had a liquidity sweep above these 2 points. So we had the push up, went up, absorbed really quickly, and then closed the candle below these 2 lows. That would be something that would make me really want to go short. Actually, just before I forget, okay, I was saying I'm not gonna go short here, and I haven't managed to go long down there. So you may ask, what are you going to trade? I'm waiting for the price to come down to 61,000, or okay, if we keep on pushing up, we make it here. There's 2 chances, there's 2 things that I'm going to be paying attention to, the only 2 things that you can trade. You are not able to go long as soon as we make it here. That's silly. Okay, that doesn't really make sense. You've got 2 chances. Number 1 is we get a push up above these highs, absorb really quickly and close the candle below these highs and go back inside this range. There, I would be very happy. I would go short. My stop loss above just a wick and something like this. Now, that's case number 1. Another option that you have got to trade would be if we break, start consolidating on the outside, on the pullback, testing back the top side of this range. There you could go long. So you either wait for the breakout, retest, and then go long, or you wait for the liquidity sweep to go short. I think those are the only things that you can really trade. It doesn't make sense for you to go long now because you're way too close to the resistance. It doesn't make to go short now because you have not made it to the resistance, and you cannot go long at the resistance. Okay, just looking at this now as well, we have gotten breaker order block, which arguably is maybe even more important and stronger than regular order blocks on our 0.618 level. Okay, that's what I'm thinking for Bitcoin. If we have a really quick look at the Bitcoin dominance is going up. Bitcoin is going up. Therefore, the altcoins are going to have less power. They're going to have less strength. They're going to be basically moving less. Having said that, let's have a look at Ethereum. Okay. Let's hide some of our indicators as well. We're still inside this fairly large range. And now we're just going to trace the Fibonacci retracement that we've done on Bitcoin, but now on Ethereum. From the high all the way to the low, you can see we've actually already made it to the 0.618 level. If we look back at Bitcoin, we're getting quite a nice push up, while Ethereum, we've already made it to the biggest local resistance. That's why I really think it's fairly important to just keep an eye on Bitcoin. I'm a really big fan of cross-reference analysis. So looking at what Bitcoin does, which is the most important one, to see what Ethereum, to see what Solana, to see what XRP is doing. I personally find that really, really useful. And if, for example, one other of the main coins is doing something else, it's worth also looking and cross-reference, see what each coin is telling you. Please don't go and look at some shitcoin on the top 700 and think, oh, this is bullish, so the whole crypto market is bullish. No, use coins that are relevant. Okay. Having said that, there's not much more I can say to you. On Ethereum, very similar thing. We can turn on our indicators as well. We are nearly overbought on the 4 hourly time frame as well. That's why, since the Bitcoin dominance is telling us that altcoins are not going to have as much strength, I wouldn't expect to see a bigger push up on Ethereum. Maybe, okay, the thing I would potentially even tolerate would be a push up really quickly, grab this liquidity point and absorb incredibly fast. That would be the only thing that would make me want to potentially go short. Worth noting though, I will say we are starting to get bigger and bigger and bigger money flow on Ethereum. Okay, I'll just leave it as that. You do with that whatever you want. Let's not forget, still the most relevant point, the most important place for you to look on Ethereum is going to be 1830, which is basically the value area low, which is the bottom side of this range. Classic support resistance flip. And like I just told you, it's the value area low. It's a natural, fairly strong resistance. We do not want to see any daily candles closing below this level. Okay, having said that, I'm going to leave the video here. I've just told you what I'm waiting for. I am still waiting for the price of Bitcoin at 61k. I've just given you the two resistance levels. If the first one gets broken, I've told you what my plan of action is. Once we do make it to the next resistance, I'm going to be using Bitcoin as a really big proxy to look and guide myself with what I'm going to be doing investment wise with these other coins. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you're having a lovely Monday, and I'll see you tomorrow for another daily market update. Bye bye.